Andy, you're now in the business of football on your third team, but Cincinnati will always be your home. How much does the community involvement still become a part of you as you move on in your career?
That was a big part of our time there in Cincinnati. And, when we look back at our football career and this kind of stage of life for me and JJ, it was some of the most memorable moments for us. And that's one thing when we first got to Cincinnati, we wanted to get involved. We wanted to be part of the community and help out in different ways. And so, that was something that's always going to hold a special place in our heart.
Are you going to continue to do anything in Cincinnati as you move on in your career?
Who knows? But as of right now, we've kind of moved on from it.
Okay.
Just with our time there, we were able to do a lot, but kind of where we're at right now, it's putting everything on hold.
Thank you.
Andy, is it hard playing quarterback when there's a young guy behind you that they're kind of grooming and he's kind of waiting in the wings? Is it hard to play quarterback looking over your shoulder, or can you not even think about that?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm not doing. I'm not looking over my shoulder. And so, for me, it's just I got to worry about me. And I understand the situation that I'm in. And but right now, all I can focus on what I'm doing and what I can do to help this team win. And that's all my focus is on.
Andy, how you doing?
Well, good to see you, Hop.
Good to see you, sir. I didn't recognize you.
Yeah, a different look now, huh?
Yeah, looks good.
I appreciate it.
Was wondering what your thoughts were of Burrow. If you've seen him play, do you watch him? Are you interested? What do you think of him as a quarterback?
Yeah, he's done a great job. Obviously, unfortunately, he had the injury last year. He was doing some really good things. Made a big play at the end of the game last week to help the Bengals get a win. So I thought he was efficient. He's done a lot of good things, and he's going to have a bright future.
Is it weird to see somebody playing quarterback, somebody else other than quarterback, other than you here?
Obviously that was 9 years there. It's a long time, but it's two teams now that it's not just Cincinnati. Right. I was in Dallas last year, now in Chicago. So I still see the field. I still think back to all the games that I played there. But that's just kind of how people's careers work.
Andy, there's a lot of new faces here, Andy. Do you still talk to any of your old teammates?
Yeah, I still keep in contact with
Andy,
some. And so there's not very many left, but I definitely stay in contact.
Andy, when you were watching tape, how different does the defense look this year as opposed to what you played against last year when you beat the Bengals for the Cowboys?
Yeah, there's definitely new faces out there and some new guys. I thought they played really well last week. You got the Vikings in a lot of long situations on third down and made it tough for them. So, there are some things that are a little different.
Hey, Andy, I hope y'all are doing well over there and y'all are enjoying Chicago so far. When Zach came in 2019, what was the process like of trying to kind of get the offense together and kind of maybe put the scheme together? And what was that whole process like as y'all started that early?
Yeah, I think just for me, learning kind of how he wanted to play and what he wanted to do, and bringing out all the stuff that he had with the Rams over, and kind of see how he was going to make it his own, and kind of see how we were going to play offensively. And I would say what he initially brought wasn't exactly how we ended up playing that year. We did some different things, and so I think that was the biggest thing, is just kind of trying to figure out what he wanted to do and how it fit our personnel.
Philosophically, how much different was that from what y'all were doing previously with Marvin?
There were some things that were different. There were some things that were similar. And so, that's kind of how it's been. I've been in a lot of offenses now. There's similarities across all of them. And so, but everybody's got their own flavor, their own way of doing things. And that's kind of how it was when Zach took over.
Andy, I'm wondering if from what you've seen on tape from the first week, if
Lou's defense looks a little bit more aggressive than the one you saw last year when you were with Dallas.
Yeah, they've done some things. They've brought some pressures. They've played man coverage. They've done some things. I mean, I wouldn't say it's completely different than what we saw last year, but I mean, there's definitely you can see they're playing with a ton of confidence over on that side of the ball.
Andy, you had a lot of stability here early in your career. What have the last 3 years been like? Would give Zach in 2019 a coaching change, and then 2 different cities over the past couple of seasons?
Yeah, there's been a lot of transition, and we're fortunate that we had the 9 years in Cincinnati. Not a lot of people can say they were in one spot for that long, and for us, we're very fortunate for that. But then the last couple of years, last year getting to be in Dallas was kind of nice for us with everything that was going on with the beginning of the pandemic and everything. We got to just kind of be in at home for us, where we're surrounded by family and things like that. It made a smooth transition, and then the transition up here to Chicago has been pretty smooth. Families adjusted well, adjusted to the new team, and I think going to Dallas last year kind of gave me a trial run of what it was going to be like coming up here, and so it's been smooth transitions the last couple of years.
Andy, I realize it's only been one game with David Montgomery, but what are your impressions of him? And did he mention watching you at all when he was a high school quarterback here in Cincinnati?
Yeah, we've talked about Cincinnati several times, and he's a guy that's really talented, and he can kind of do it all, not only in the run game but pass game as well. He runs hard, he's physical, he's smart. I mean, he can kind of do it all. So fortunate to have a guy like that on our side.
Andy, I was wondering what you thought of how 22 played for the Bengals. Your old guy in Dallas, Uzi. He looked like that was a hell of a game by a Cincinnati corner. I was wondering if you had noticed that. You had seen some in the past like that.
Yeah, I thought he played well, and I obviously was with him last year in Dallas, and so he's a talented guy.
Have you been up there long enough to form an opinion on Portillo's yet, or no?
No, that's a hot spot here. There's a lot of good restaurants here in Chicago. So great food town.
Andy, do you find yourself as that real true veteran now, where a lot of younger guys are coming up to you for advice, or you trying to help guys kind of navigate this terrain of the NFL as a business?
For sure. I think that's one thing that I've been around for a long time. So I understand kind of the ins and outs of this business, and you're not really surprised by anything that happens. And so I'm definitely someone that they can come to if they need any advice or need any help with anything.
Andy, I know you said you're not looking over your shoulder, but when Justin Fields comes in, I think it's probably the first time during your career where you've had to do that and go to the sideline. How big of a challenge is that?
No, it's not a challenge at all. And just come to the sideline for a play or two, and then go back in there. So it hasn't been challenging at all.
Andy, do you ever look at your career early in your career here in Cincinnati and think back to the quarterback you were then and what you've evolved to professionally now?
Yeah, there's a lot of growth in my time in Cincinnati. As the foundation of my NFL career, and we're able to do some really good things. I can think back to some of the some teams that were really talented and had some really good opportunities, and a part of some teams with some really good teammates and great coaches and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, I'm thankful for that time that I was in Cincinnati, and it's made me the player and person I am today.
You still stay in touch with AJ? I mean, you guys came in together, built a beautiful friendship, and now you both have moved on. Have you guys stayed in touch and talked about just post-Bengal life?
We have stayed in touch. AJ is going to be a friend for the rest of my life, and thankful for all the times that we had together and the friendship that we were able to build. And so he's a guy that I'm going to talk to for the rest of my life.